UFC Baku is this Saturday, and if you're looking to who to pick, this is the place to be. I currently have 6 locks on the card and a major dog upset. Let's get right into it. If you do not know, I utilize a checklist breaking down each fight, and I'm going to give you 3 reasons why that fighter is going to win. So first off, Abdukkayev versus Nascimento. I got Abdukkayev, TKO early round 2. I'm about 80% confident on this. Nascimento is on short notice. He just had a fight 29 days ago for an interim championship on the regional scene, and he's coming up a weight class. That fight was a war. He almost got knocked out, and then he came back to win. It's crazy that he's taking this fight, but he's getting a shot in the UFC, so good for him. But I think Abdullahev's just gonna win, man. The reasons why: the good style matchup. Nascimento's a kickboxer. Abdullahev's going to be able to neutralize him, I think, with his wrestling and grappling. It's his natural weight class at welterweight. Like I said, Nascimento's moving up, and he's a fresher fighter. And then also he's got home crowd advantage. So I'm pretty confident Abdullahev's going to pull this one out. And it would be amazing if Nascimento ends up winning this. Like I said, second fight in 29 days is not easy. We move on to Almakhan versus Matsumoto. I got Matsumoto, and I got it by decision. 75% confidence level here. I think Gene's going to chop the lead leg of Almakhan and take him to the ground. And I think he's just going to outpace him throughout the whole fight. It's a bantamweight fight. I expect it to go to the decision. I don't think there's going to be any finish here. But I just think Matsumoto's the more well-rounded fighter. And he's going to be able to take Almakhan's movement away. I think Matsumoto has good leg kicks. He's going to be able to chop at that calf, and then Almakhan's not going to be able to move. And Matsumoto's very tough to finish, and I think that's the only way that Almakhan can actually win this fight. I don't see him getting finished. I don't see Matsumoto getting finished. So, yeah, like I said, 75% confidence level. Matsumoto, I think he's going to make it look somewhat easy in this fight. Next fight, Donchenko versus Berggren from Sweden. Don't even think about it. Donchenko is way better everywhere. I got 99% confidence level here. KO early round 1. Berggren's not even going to look like he should be in the UFC. He shouldn't be anywhere near that cage. Donchenko, simply the better fighter. He's going to be a different level. We're going to see that in this fight. Higher output, more powerful striker. And yeah, Berggren's going to gas. He's like a grappler. And if he gets any grappling done on Donchenko, it's going to be in the first round for the first couple minutes. And he's just not going to be able to compete. He's from Sweden. Just don't even think about it, man. 99% Donchenko wins this fight, and it's going to be nasty KO. We move on. Ofli versus Reyes. I got Reyes. Late round 1 KO. I'm about 80% confident. It just seems poised for a big finish, Reyes. And, Ofli's kind of a gritty fighter. He can make a fight. He can make you grind out for a win, but I don't see it against Reyes, man. He's the better striker. He has more KO power. He's very athletic. He's going to be hard for Ofli to catch and try to push up against the cage or even try to get a takedown. And Ofli's got this very high guard, and Reyes is just this crazy striker. He's on a 3-fight finishing streak. He blitzes with strikes. I think he's going to expose that high guard of Ofli, and he's going to kick the crap out of his body, and his head's going to inevitably be open. Reyes wins by late round KO, and I think it's going to be a nice one. We move on. Ruziboev versus Pulyaev, another one. I just think this isn't even a close match. Don't even think about it. Ruziboev, submission, late round 1. I'm 90% confident on it. I think they're going to get into an exchange in the first round, and then Ruziboev is going to catch him, and he's going to jump on a sub, rear naked choke, maybe even an arm triangle. I just don't see it, man. Pulyaev gave a good fight to Tebe Gautier, but Gautier doesn't have that ground game, I don't think, yet. And it was kind of a learning curve for him after dominating everybody that he's faced. But I think Ruziboev is just more polished, more complete fighter. The grappling game is going to open up the striking for him, and I think he can easily submit Pulyaev. And Pulyaev is just sloppy, man. I don't think, like I said, Ruziboev is way more polished of a fighter. I would be surprised if somehow he loses this fight. So, yeah, 90% submission, late round 1. We move on. Another one that's just so easy, I think, to call. To be honest, I forget his middle name, but it's Yakhyaev versus Walker. They're just not even close when it comes to talent. I got a submission early round 1. I'm 99% confident on it. Walker's a can. Okay, it's simple. Yakhyaev, they think that this dude can be a superstar. He's a prolific finisher, elite sambo, striking, and BJJ. He came out and did a head kick in his last fight. He's better everywhere, like I said. UFC is trying to build a star because they see the potential in him. And Walker is, like I said, he is a can, and his nickname, his fighting name, is the Juice Box. So if you want to pick him, if you want to go his way, good luck. I would be surprised if he even gets out of the first round. So early round 1 submission from Yakhyaev. We move on. Hasanov versus Nolan. Bit of a closer matchup, bit of a pick-em here. Not much that we know on Hasanov. Both of them are kind of coming from the regional scene. Nolan from Cage Fury. And breaking it down, I think Hasanov's going to win. I think he's going to get a late round 1 TKO. I'm about 60% confident on it because, like I said, this fight is a little bit closer. There's not all that much intel on Hasanov with him being from the regional scene, but he's built like a brick house, man, and he just looks like he's going to be way stronger than Nolan. Nolan had a fight in the UFC against Yakhyaev, but it was at middleweight, which is not his natural weight. He is a welterweight, and but looking at him against Hasanov, man, Hasanov just looks way stronger, way more explosive. I will say this about Nolan. He has a nasty left hook. He puts people to sleep with that left hook. But outside of that, he's just kind of he's a pacer. He strikes at you. And Hasanov is this explosive wrestler who comes at you with a couple shots and then gets the takedown. And I think Nolan just looked terrible on the ground. And I know it was his first fight. I know he was facing Yakhyaev, but he just looked terrible. His neck got exposed. He left it out in the air there, and Yakhyaev, capitalized. And I think Hasanov's going to do something similar, but instead of the submission, he's going to get a late round 1 TKO, just ground and pound, because he is vicious on the ground. And then we'll see what it goes from there. But yeah, defense did not look good from Nolan. Hasanov is just going to constantly move forward, and I don't think Nolan's going to be able to fight the fight that he wants to fight. So 60% there, a little bit closer of a fight, but Hasanov gets it done, I think. We move on. Magomedov against Michael Oleksiejczuk. I got Oleksiejczuk, man. Abus Magomedov just doesn't have it to me. He's missing something. We know that he gassed against Sean Strickland a while ago. He just got submitted by rear naked choke by Joe Pyfer. And this fight just seems like it's made for Oleksiejczuk. What's interesting about this fight is that Caio Borralho just fought Magomedov. Well, not just fought, but fought him before. He beat him in a unanimous decision. So he's got some intel, and Oleksiejczuk now trains at the Fighting Nerds. So I think they were smart in picking this fight. I got late round 3 KO by Michael Oleksiejczuk, man. 70% confidence. It might even be higher, to be honest. I think he's going to weather the grappling storm of Abus Magomedov, and then he's going to start landing some volume throughout the fight, and he's going to hit Magomedov in the body. I just don't see it, man. I don't see Abus getting through this fight without getting finished. I don't see him finishing Oleksiejczuk. Oleksiejczuk has improved. Like I said, the Fighting Nerds have intel on this guy, on Magomedov, and ever since Oleksiejczuk has joined the Fighting Nerds, his takedown defense, his grappling defense has looked way better, because that was a big problem in his fighting. So he's looked better, he's improved, and I just think it's one of those matchups, man. Oleksiejczuk's going to dog it out, and he's going to beat the crap out of Magomedov in the third round. Well, throughout the fight, but he's going to eventually finish him in the third round. I think it's a great fight, but yeah, Oleksiejczuk, I think it's just made for him, man. So late round 3 KO, we move on. Bruno Ferreira versus versus Aliskerov. I got Aliskerov. Don't even think about it. He's way more technical. He's the more complete fighter. Pereira has power, but Aliskerov has a 4-inch reach advantage on Pereira, and there's just no way I see Pereira making this a fight. Late round 1 TKO from Aliskerov. I'm 95% confident on it. I think he's going to get a knockdown, and it might even be earlier. I think he's going to get a nice knockdown, might even be a head kick, and he's going to put Bruno on the ground, and then it's just going to be a ground and pound to victory. So, like I said, just way more technical everywhere. Also, Bruno Ferreira's last fight was in March, and he got knocked out cold by Gregory Rodriguez. So I think it's a little too early, a little too soon for him, especially against a fighter like Aliskerov. Don't even think about it. It's a lock. We move on. This fight I'm really interested to see. This is my underdog upset. Almakhan versus Johnson. Almakhan's obviously a great wrestler. He's in his regional hometown, you can say. He's not from Baku, but he is from that area. And a lot of people are picking Almakhan, and I might be wrong. I could completely be misreading this, but man, it just seems like a fight that Charles Johnson's going to pull out for some reason. He's the better striker for sure. He's more volume for sure on the feet. But Almakhan obviously is a very high-paced grappler. But it's just crazy because Charles Johnson has a 5-inch reach and height advantage in this fight. And I think that's going to come into play here when Almakhan is trying to shoot takedowns and trying to grapple and trying to clinch with him. Charles Johnson moves very well against when he's up against the cage. He moves all over the place. His striking's better. And I think if Almakhan starts realizing that he can't get takedowns, he's in a world of trouble, man. He's not going to be able to outstrike Charles Johnson. And Charles Johnson's just more comfortable in deep waters, man. Like I said, what happens if Almakhan can't get his takedowns? I think he's in for a world of hurt. Now, I am only 50% confident in this. It can be... Almakhan could just out-wrestle him, but I just don't see him, man. That's a huge reach and height advantage that Charles Johnson has to his advantage. And I see a classic Charles Johnson underdog victory here. So we'll see what happens, but I think it's going to be a decision, and it would be probably a unanimous, because if it's a split decision, it might be a little dicey since Almakhan is from that area. We move on. Sadikov versus Camilo, another one. Don't even think about it. Sadikov's going to win. This is at lightweight. This is a violent division. Sadikov is a violent fighter, and he's just a better overall fighter right now. He trains out of Syndicate MMA, trains out of Longo MMA over in New York, and he's just more polished right now. I think, got a 7-year. He's 7 years older than Camilo. Camilo's young. Camilo's not a bad fighter, but I just don't think it's his time, and I don't think this is going to be the fight that he pulls out a crazy victory. I think Sadikov is going to get an early round 2 KO. I'm about 90% confident in it. He just looks better all around, and like I said, he's violent. I think he finishes Camilo rather easily, and this is just his time, man. He's from this area. The only time he had problems was with a lanky Faraz Ziam. So Camilo is not going to present that problem to him, and every time that Sadikov has fought somebody with a similar frame, he's done excellent. So, he's a prolific finisher, and this is his time. Sadikov, man, don't even think about it. We move on to another fight, Magomedov versus Michel Pereira. The bullet facing Pereira, Jesus. Pereira sucks, okay? Michel Pereira sucks. I don't like him as a fighter. I don't think his style is good. He will gas out in the first round. He's going to come out crazy like he always does. He's spinning all over the place. He's doing somersaults. He just did it on the weigh-in stage, by the way. Magomedov's going to get him. He moves too well with his feet. He's not going to be in any danger. He might get pushed up against the fence once, but I just don't see it. He's just way better everywhere than Pereira, and Magomedov has a higher, way better output. He's an amazing kickboxer. We saw the finishes. He had a double spinning back fist KO. He's just way more dynamic, man, and all he has to do is weather the storm a little bit of Michel Pereira in that first round, and then I just see like 50 body kicks landing on Pereira and eventually gassing out. It could go to a decision. I got early round 3 KO, though, from Magomedov, because I think Pereira is going to gas out that much. And he's not going to be able to get anything when he does go wild. So Magomedov easily in my book. We move on to the main event. Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. This is a hard fight to call, man. And I got Manuel Torres. And the reason I have Manuel Torres is because he obviously is he's a great finisher. He's either going to finish who he's facing or he's going to get finished. None of his fights have left the first round, which is crazy. None at all, even on the amateur scene. And because of that, and because it's lightweight, which again, a violent division, there's so many finishes at lightweight, I think Manuel Torres gets it done. I think he's the better finisher, and Fiziev has not finished anybody since the last minute of the last round against Rafael dos Anjos in 2022. He's a great striker. We know he can put some pace on people. His striking is crazy. He's quick. He's explosive. But he just doesn't have that, like, one-shot KO. He's not able to get those finishes as easily as I think people think. But Manuel Torres does, and he's a sniper on the feet. So I think late round 1 KO, man, because I don't think this leaves round 1. And Fiziev has had problems with snipers before. We just saw it happen with Houfi. And Mauricio Houfi sniped him again. And it was rather easy for him. So I think Manuel Torres does well in this fight. I think it's going to be a little bit of a coming out party for him. He's going to have some hype around him after a nice KO. It's going to be sad, though, because I think this is kind of the end, the downfall of Fiziev. I know he hasn't been in like title contention that much recently. He was on a good streak there, and then he lost to Gaethje twice, and there were good fights, but Fiziev is just missing something, and I don't know what it is outside of that knockout power, but he's just missing it, man. And he's been through some wars. He's had a lot of injuries when he's been outside of the cage. And like I said, lightweight's just dangerous, man. There's so many wars. I think he's just aged a little bit too much now for this division. And I can just see him, for whatever reason, walking into a Manuel Torres elbow. I don't know why, but that's what I see. I saw Kyoji Horiguchi walking into Manel Cap, and he did. He planted, walked in the Cap, and then and Cap got him. And I kind of see something similar here. I think Fiziev's going to be all, hyped up. He's in his hometown here. They built the card around him. And he's going to be looking for a finish, and he's going to just be exposed. And Fiziev, and Torres is just going to catch him. It might not be with an elbow, but for whatever reason, I just see a nasty elbow on Fiziev that cuts him open, and then maybe a TKO on the ground, from Torres. But also, Manuel Torres has some submissions in his arsenal. So if this fight goes to the ground, and Fiziev, for whatever reason, isn't all knocked out yet, he's not dazed, Manuel just might put him into a Darce or something. So I think he picks his shots well. Fiziev just faced Rufi and got caught, like I said. I'm about a 55% confidence level, and to be honest, I might even be more. Thinking about it, I'm probably closer to 70% on this. I just think this is going to be the end of Rafael Fiziev. He might have a couple fights after this, but this is his downfall. He's going to start getting finished way too much. There's this new age of MMA coming in, and you got these guys who just can finish. And Manuel Torres only had a problem with Ignacio Bahamondes, who's, again, like a tall, lanky guy. Fiziev is the opposite. He's short, he's stocky, he's explosive. I don't see Manuel Torres having an issue with him, man. He does lean heavy on his lead leg. Maybe Fiziev chops that out and it causes problems. And we haven't seen Torres outside of the first round. We don't know what his cardio could be like, but I have a feeling it's fine. I have a feeling it's good. Manuel Torres by disgusting KO in the late round 1 is what I think is going to happen here. And like I said, it's going to be kind of depressing. Fiziev's a great fighter. He's exciting, but I just don't think... I think it's Manuel Torres' time for a prolific finish on him. And he's going to get a lot of hype around him. So yeah, 6 locks on the card. I don't think it's that hard of a card to pick. You know, there's a lot of regional fighters. Usually they're going to try to get favorable matchups for them. And yeah, my biggest underdog of the card is Charles Johnson. So we'll see what happens. Fights are tomorrow. I'm excited. Should be a good one. They're early. Love the early fights. But yeah, let me know who you have. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all soon for the reactions. Take care.